Carpe Caster, I got a call from a new landowner here in North Texas about some problem beaver on his property. And 2 days after my first hunt, he sent me this picture from a security camera of two bloated and floating beaver. Here is that initial hunt, starting just after sundown. He did have a beaver problem, so I attempted to deal with them using my 6.5 Grendel TX15 Multi Purpose Carbine Enhanced from Lone Star Armory. And tonight, I'm shooting some Hornady SST 123 grain bullets loaded by Druid Hill Armory in the Starline Brass. The shot distances on this tank range from anywhere from about 40 yards to 120 yards. The far bank here is at about 140 yards, and the beaver is a little closer. Now what I'm scanning for after each shot is evidence that the beaver has been hit or not hit. And so what I'm looking for is some thrashing, or to see if the beaver pops back up and is swimming away again. Sometimes when you hit the beaver, they go subsurface and you don't see them again. And that's because they're swimming away to safety, or it's because they're dead. And then only later sometimes will they float up. Otherwise, I'm hoping to see thrashing or a dead body. Got two beaver. I'm going to select the closer one. That seemed like a good hit, but I'm not seeing any sign of thrashing in the water. And I'm not seeing it swim out either.
Alright.
You can hear the exasperation in my voice. Got another long distance beaver. These are on the other side of the tank. I do a little cleansing breath. I'm getting resituated on the rifle, trying to get it tucked into my shoulder just so. And the lack of evidence is quite bothersome. Now, of course, shooting at objects on the water such as beavers can be dangerous. Bullets can skip off the water. I actually have landforms rising up from the water on about 2/3 of the sides of the tank. I've got forests on the other side, and I've checked on Google Earth to make sure I don't have any structures or any known targets downrange that might be in jeopardy. So any bullets that might leave the known shooting area will not be a problem downrange. Swimming beaver are a tough target. Usually you have a lateral view such as this. You only have about an inch above the water and maybe 2 to 4 inches of exposure from the nose into the neck. But when they turn away, you get a longer body shot and a higher probability for a kill. If your shot is a little bit low, you're still going to be shooting through the body of the animal, which is nice. And while I did searches after each shot looking for beaver,
That should have been a good one.
occasionally it takes a little bit of time for the evidence of the kill to materialize. And here we can see some thrashing under the water. That's going to be a beaver going through its curly shuffle after I've shot it.
Oof.
Another longer distance shot. So again, I'm readjusting, trying to get comfortable on the rifle and the shooting sticks. The beaver is swimming away, a more ideal target. Sounded like a good hit. And it looks like I've got a body floating on the water. So I showed it for my next hunt, and they're the bloated and floated beaver that you saw on the security camera at the opening of the video. These are the only two that I saw on the surface at the time. I got set up on my shooting sticks, brought out a stool to sit and wait, and all my lighting needs are being provided by my Ace Beam H30 headlamp as I sit under a nearly full moon. Not much activity this evening. That looks to have been a good shot. Got a little bit of flutter under the water just afterwards. And no sign of the beaver coming to the surface. While searching for a beaver, I noticed another body floating in the water. This is a sped up video, and if you watch you can see fish or possibly turtles feeding on the carcass. I watched this carcass throughout the night. Occasionally it would roll over, and hence I saw the legs pop up, so this is indeed going to be a beaver, although you're only seeing part of the back right here. This is a view from the other side of the tank where I made those long shots to, and you can see the two bloated and floating beaver and then the smaller one that I found later. And the reason why I'm over here is because I've been watching beaver go back and forth on this side of the tank over in this area. And finally this one pops up. It's behind a tree, so I have to move over to get to a better shooting position. That should have been a good shot. I don't see a carcass. I don't see any thrashing. I keep scanning. But I do see another head pop up. Whether this is the original beaver or a different one, I don't know. I think it's probably the original. And hopefully it should have been tagged right there. After 30 minutes of no activity, I went over and decided that I would see if I could pop the bloated and floating beaver, get them to go subsurface. They looked like they were under a lot of pressure, and I was hoping to explode them in place. But instead, it only looks like I've deflated them slightly, and they still aren't sinking. Hopefully, the turtles and fish will finish them off. Carpe sus, my friends.